everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Powerful Stuff. And I know I often say it, it's crazy. How does the power keep outdoing itself? One must ask. But I have Gregory Rezlo on the show today, who I call Rezlo. Such an honor. It's also his stage name, so watch this space. He is a self-empowerment and love coach, an internet sensation, and an incredible yoga teacher. He's actually led some best morning evers for me, one of my dear friends, and we are popping his podcast virginity today. Just such an honor, as he's gonna tell us all about his self-love journey, how we can get there too, and yeah, what a journey we've been on as friends and otherwise.
What a journey we have been on. Yes. And I'm so grateful to be here. And this is my first podcast. So
wow.
Deep breaths for me.
Never forget your first.
Never forget your first. Like you said, popping the cherry. And I remember the first time that we met, which was in Topanga, which we had mentioned chatting about, because that was also the first time that I had sang in LA in that context, like out in the world.
Out in the wild.
Since moving here. And of course it was in Topanga in the rain plug.
I know his song, Watch This Space.
Period.
It wasn't raining that day. It was raining tears of joy.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And so I've come a long way from that point, and it's really beautiful to look back and think about how much has shifted in my life as I've stepped into this role as a coach over the past year, and prior to that being a yoga teacher, and then on my musical journey as well, just moving to LA, little baby step at a time.
I know. It's crazy to see the progression because like you said, I think that was 3 years ago. And yeah, seeing you perform in Topanga. And then since you've led some yoga for Best Morning Ever, you've performed at many Powerful Stuff lives. And we've even done a Venice Girlies video together.
Yes.
I've seen you become a cat dad to your precious daughter, Little Puff.
Yes.
Shout out Little Puff if you're listening.
She's my girl. She's currently in, she's in heat right now, looking for her boyfriend.
So if any male cats are out there.
But if we have any cute, any cute cat, any cat,
any kitty cat.
Listen, Puff can have whoever she wants.
Of course.
Because that's the kind of family that we are, and we support.
I love that.
Her orientation as a cat. If she... Excuse me. It's good to get the nervous giggles out, because now I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Yes, cat dad. So yeah, so many things to unpack. So I was just telling you earlier about how the 13th of this month of December was my year anniversary from quitting my corporate job, or leave. That was my last day a year ago.
I remember that.
Yes.
Taking the leap, you were brewing on it for a long time. It is so fitting that we're doing this a year later, because I feel like I love to say trust doesn't exist without times of uncertainty, and you really took a bet on yourself. And yeah, give the audience a little taste of like what led up to that decision and how that initial leap was. And then I also want to dig into some of your early years as well.
Yes. Okay. Yes, absolutely. So it's been an arc for sure of learning. I'd actually like to start with earlier and then kind of lead up to that. Is that okay?
Yeah, please. Yeah. I would love that.
Because I think that'll kind of build the picture and then give a more substantial kind of like, here's the foundation for why I ended up deciding to be a coach, because I didn't even think that it was something that I wanted to do until I had several friends be like, you could help people with a lot of things, based on what I know. So yeah, where should I start? Do we get the background of just life in general?
Yeah, let's do life in general. And that's a great point to just contextualize it too for everyone who doesn't know you, of just like why I wanted to have this conversation on this podcast. In the first place, not only are you a dear friend, but you're someone who I think just lives unapologetically like yourself, like all your Instagram content is so funny. It's just like who you are, like your style, how you show up in the world. And I think like a lot of your friends are drawn to you from that, like, unabashed authenticity and that like humor and that levity to which you approach life while still like doing the work. And then also your clients. And I think it's, so many people struggle with like wearing different hats in different situations or in different parts of life or for different family members or friend groups. So I think that you really embody what you coach on with self-love and empowerment. So yeah, just like to say that to like, yeah, you got to such a place that so many people aspire to. So yeah, let's rewind it back and hear kind of the yesteryears, and then we'll go into the inflection point of this last year.
Okay. That sounds beautiful. Yeah. And thank you so much.
I mean it.
Thank you for sharing that. It's been a journey in it, you know. Yeah, I'll start from the beginning, and I'll keep it as fluid as I can. Here's my life story. Buckle
Chapter
up.
1.
Chapter 1. I was born.
My mom's water broke.
Working out of the womb.
I know, and contrary to popular belief, he was not born in Venice.
I was not born in Venice.
We were saying the birth canal, not the literal Venice canal, but
not the Venice Canal.
I was like, it's hard to imagine you living outside of Venice, but you're an East Coaster. You went to school in Colorado.
Yeah, I can't. I honestly, it's been a wild journey, and it does feel like this is my rebirthing place. The Venice Canal's baptized me, if you will. Not literally.
Not literally, because we would have some infections.
Because I'd have some gross stuff happening. So, so not that. But yeah, I was born and raised in Connecticut. To a dad who was a machinist, very, very niche job. My mom was a nurse and still is a nurse. And grew up kind of in the suburbs, in the woods. As a little kid, very creative, always liked to build things. I always liked to take things apart. So I would often be found in my attic with some things that I shouldn't have been taking apart, like a PlayStation with a screwdriver.
So
and I just took it apart with no intention of putting it back together. I was just like, how does this work? And then it worked no longer.
You're like, deconstruct to not reconstruct.
And now full circle, we do reconstruct, but we love to take things apart still. Yeah. Growing up, I loved to be creative, loved to make art. And from a young age, I always knew that I wanted to make music, and started to ask my mom just, over and over, I want to play the piano. It was the piano at the time.
Wow. I didn't even know you played piano in addition to guitar.
So I do, but that's actually not what I started with, because we couldn't find a piano teacher that wanted to teach somebody as young as me, because I was like 5 or 6.
Protege alert.
I need to do this.
Or prodigy.
Protege.
Prodigy alert.
Absolutely prodigy alert.
I'm your protege.
I'm your protege. Yeah, I like that. For some reason, I'm not protege is not landing with the definition in my head. So in my head, it means the same thing. No, protege is like the person that it'd be
mentoring,
training. Yes. Like my clients.
Yeah, your clients or our inner children constant.
Or inner children.
We're their proteges.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I love that. And I look back and learn so much from him still. And so I was asking my mom over and over, I want to play an instrument, blah, blah, blah. We found a guitar teacher that would teach me, and I was 7 at the time. So he said, okay, we'll take him on. And that's where it all started. And from that point on, music was a through line in my life of self-expression and a log of my experiences going through my teenage years, my adolescence, in some really unstable times in my family, when I was experiencing a lot of emotional distress from things happening between my parents and things that were unfolding in my world. So music and writing specifically was something that helped me right away. As soon as I started playing guitar, I started writing, and I started kind of cataloging my experiences. And the first song I wrote, funny enough, was about my sister going away for college.
Aww.
And she was moving to Pennsylvania, and I was so sad. And the lyrics were this is so dramatic.
Oh my God, tell me.
The first lyrics were, "Do you even know me now? I moved along some way, somehow." And then it was like, and could it be that I was wrong? Something. Anyways, super emo.
You
for
need
like
to release this
8-year-old.
song.
Yeah, and it was very honestly, it was pretty catchy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bring that up because I, from a young age, was very fortunately supported in expressing myself. And that was something that was a through line in my life in terms of really every area of my life, discovering my identity, my sexuality, who I was as a person. I was very fortunate to be in a family amidst other things that were, there were other instabilities, but it was never like the thing that you are isn't okay.
Right, which is such a gift to have as a child, like your
huge.
Full acceptance of self.
Huge, full acceptance of self. And it doesn't mean that I didn't make up my own narratives at a young age of just like, well, this thing is okay about you and this thing isn't. Those agreements that we make at a young
Yeah,
age
totally.
are, you know, seeds that we plant that then create patterns, you know, through the rest of our lives.
Then are like the stories that kind of keep us small when we're older.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I mean, too, like nature and nurture, it's like even if our family or our parents are loving or accepting of us, just what we're seeing or the environment we're in or the suburbs we're in, everything kind of just, plays such a role in that.
Totally. And it's a constellation of all of that. And it's what we agree to in that time period, depending on what we feel strongly about or what we feel like if we have like a reservoir of self-esteem already, then maybe at that age, it's easier to hear somebody make a bullying remark and be like, well, that doesn't bother me. But at the time, those things definitely like, you know, things seep in. And so wrote that song and continued to write through my young teenage years into my teenage years, found theater.
Wow.
And I remember when I was approached, well, the first show I did was The Addams Family.
Oh my gosh.
And which was so
I would have loved to see you in acting as well. I'm like, you can do it all.
I did my best.
Triple threat.
I did my best.
Act,
I love
sing, dance.
I like acting. It's fun. Yeah, acting, dance, twerk.
Or like quintal fret, yoga, weightlifting.
Yoga, weightlifting, coaching, making really good air fried tofu.
Oh my God, that's a skill because it's hard to get it to the perfect crisp.
Yes, I can convert a fried chicken person, I think, to an air fried tofu person pretty quickly.
Wow.
Maybe. Anyways.
We're pushing our vegan agenda.
Whereas I'm like pushing I'm like, not only is it a really an environmental impact, ethical impact, also tastes good.
You wouldn't even know it.
You wouldn't even know it. Yeah. Anyways.
Circling back.
Found theater.
Yes. Addams Family,
amazing show. That was the first show I ever did. And it was, I was encouraged to do that by one of our theater directors who kind of approached me and was like, I hear that you sing. I heard like around the block, everyone's saying that you sing. And I said, yeah, I do. And she recruited me to do this show and then recruited me to do another show, which was Footloose. I was Gomez and then I was Ren. So two straight male protagonists.
You're like, and that's when I got my Oscar.
Interesting, because I really acted that out because it was an act.
Method acting,
straight. I still can't do like a straight voice as I hear people do on occasion. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, I'd be curious to hear your...
Me too. I'm curious too. So the theater for me, when I started singing and writing music, I was terrified to sing in front of people. And how, that transformed my identity and helped me break out of my shell was really powerful. And I remember the first time I sang for my mom and I was like, okay, I'm going to sing for you. And I said, what I want you to do is I want you to go and stand in a different room and turn around. And I'm going to stand in this room and turn around and I'm going to sing for you. And that's how it started. And then, as I started to get more comfortable, it was like, okay, then she's closer. Then she's eventually in the room. Then she's turned around, but I'm still turned around. And then we're both turned around and, I'm singing for her. And I expressed that story as a representation of the evolution of self-confidence at a young age and how that also mirrored my experience in theater and people having really amazing mentors and teachers outside of me that told me, you're worthy of doing this. You have what it takes. And if you're willing to set aside the thoughts and the beliefs that you feel are holding you back or making you feel negative emotion, then you can step into this with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of the work that we do as coaches is helping people transform their inner world so that their outer world reflects what's inside.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, and all about mental reprogramming.
Yeah, and repatterning those kind of like old beliefs. I love that story because it is such I always say it's like tiny shifts over time. And it's like not necessarily needing to be thrown into the deep end or whatever, but just like, okay, what's ever so slightly out of your comfort zone? And then the next thing, and then the next thing. It's such a beautiful story of singing to your mom to
Thank you for listening.
That. Yeah.
It was a beautiful experience and it was special. And I think every person can relate to the experience of so deeply wanting to be seen and also feeling some emotional roadblocks in between where you are and being authentically seen.
Yeah.
for who you are. And it really comes down to how you love and hold space for yourself.
Totally. And it sounds like you had like a great support crew in a way, like with your mom and your teacher who saw your acting potential. And then how did that like shift into like the college early 20s chapter? Because I feel like that's such a tumultuous time of like figuring out who we are. And kind of being thrown into a new environment of like leaving the nest, so to speak. So how did you navigate it then? Kind of bring me from like college, early 20s to LA.
Okay. Oof. Okay. Yes. So I graduated high school in 2015. TBT. It's been 10 years.
Oh my God. Happy 10 years.
Crazy. I'm like, haven't been to an anniversary. I know people do that, but it's a little bit of a trek.
Oh my gosh, this is where I feel so old because last year 2 years ago, I went to my 10-year college anniversary.
And that's only what? It's only like 4 years ahead. Right?
It's like 6.
6 years. Okay. Period. Okay.
No worries.
Yeah. No worries. No worries.
Age is but a number.
Yeah. Age is but a number, truly. So yeah, when I was in high school, I had this inkling that I really wanted to be in Colorado in general. I always felt really drawn to the lifestyle out there and being outside and how active it was and just the very Western, it felt very expansive to me to think about being somewhere that different. And so I had a couple schools on my roster and, ended up choosing CU Boulder, which I made it in. And did end up making it in, but had a very tumultuous shift in support and finances right before I was supposed to move.
Wow.
And my mom said, we're going to make it work. You're still going to go. I'm going to help you figure it out. And so we did. And so I moved out there and what was I, 18? Yeah. And I started out as an environmental science major.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this about you.
Which is really interesting. Even though I knew music was a through line for me, and then I wanted to do something in the arts or in creativity in general, which is funny because coaching is so creative as well. I knew music. I felt it in my heart. I said, well, music is where I'm going to go. And maybe if I do, I really like environmental science, I'll see how it goes.
And then we always choose it like just in case.
Just in case. Like everyone's like, have a plan B. And then like, meanwhile, like last year, I just like I was like, fuck a plan B. I'm just going to go into the world and just bet on myself. So anyways.
So true. We always have to go through that journey. I feel like our 20s is like in college too. It's like a candy store where we like have to try all the things. And then it's like the slow journey back to becoming and refinement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like love that I had my master's in African studies and it's like made me who I am. And now I'm like, coach and stand up and speaker. That's like self-development.
Yeah.
Informs the world perspective, but it is so funny just like how many different like little rabbit holes we can go on in college in our early 20s.
Yeah.
Necessary, of course.
So necessary. And that was one of the rabbit holes. And I quickly learned that it wasn't the right path for me, even though I absolutely loved what I was learning. I did really well in school. I'm very quick to commit. And if I decide to do something, I can just full force into it. And so I was there from August to January.
Yeah.
And kind of in that time, I was thinking, well, maybe I'll actually go to business school because that could help support my creative endeavors. And then I'll just know how to move and orchestrate life in business. And that would be helpful and supportive. And by the end of the 6 months, it was a combination of this doesn't feel like the most authentic choice. And then also financially, I wasn't in a position where my family could support me in paying for the school. And that my projection for being in school was just going to be astronomically expensive because CU Boulder is just beautiful school and also pricey. So even with a 4.0, they were like, here's $500.
And you're like, this is 2 Air One smoothies.
I was like, this would get me, 1 week of Air One. So anyways, I decided to withdraw and I withdrew and my feeling inside, and I feel like I'm skipping over so much. So actually I should talk a little bit about what those 6 months looked like. It was extremely expansive. It was my first time living away from home at 18 years old, which at the time I was like, I'm an adult. I look back and now I feel like it's funny how the older you get, the more you realize that there's so much to learn that there's no end to learning.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you think that you have so much more figured out, or that you're just like, I know what I'm doing.
Totally.
And so funny to look back on that. And to touch on what those 6 months looked like. Yeah, a lot of school and a lot of actually performing around campus. And so I would take my guitar and I would go and sit in the stairwells and I would sing for hours in the stairwells.
Progression from singing back to your mom.
Yeah, for real. And I would meet people walking, to class, walking to their dorms. So much so that I ended up being called the stairwell singer. And some people posted stories of me on the Boulder story, and then
wow,
I started
local
to build up.
legend.
Yeah, hey, that's
your word, mama.
I'll receive the accolades, whatever people want to call it, and I through that built up a lot of connection points with people about music and creativity. And by the time I had finished those 6 months, I felt this deep calling that I was meant to be creative in my life, and just dive into my music. And so I ended up leaving school. And something that's really important about this period that I'll share, which I will go into, I'm trying to think of how at length I'm like, an hour. Now that we're getting into it, I'm like, an hour is just like a sliver of time.
I know. I'm like, what? By the hour, we'll just have gotten to the 21st birthday.
Yes. So
because there's so much juice in every chapter. Okay,
I want to hit the landmarks. That's what I want to hit.
Yeah, hit the landmarks.
Okay.
Give us the quick and dirty.
Quick and dirty.
So then we can also talk about, I feel like last year's been huge. So expansive too. So yeah.
Yes.
Take us through what happened. Give us the TLDR.
We're going to go boop, 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 boop. And then if you want to ask me any questions about either of those things.
That was the foreplay.
That was the foreplay. I was warming you up.
Yeah. We'll do a part 2 in the spring.
Part 2 in the spring. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. So I withdrew from school and I ended up having an extremely powerful plant medicine journey at 18.
Whoa. Which is so much younger than most people start, I feel.
Super young. And I started researching plant medicines when I was 16 or 17. And my mom got me a book about them because I asked for it for Christmas. Like, shout out.
Your mom's so cool.
She's literally the coolest.
You've done ceremonies with her too, right?
Yes, I have. She's the best.
She's an angel. She came to one of the powerful stuff lives, I remember.
Yes, truly. And so that was super transformative. And then I took a year and a half off, worked a bunch, got a bunch of music equipment, started producing, which I've learned is not my forte, but I'm better at it now. But started producing, ended up going back to school at CU Denver for music, for not production. I was in there for music business.
Wow.
So I actually did end up rounding the corner and going back for music business. Met my first producer and my second producer at that school. Made a bunch of connections, tons of friendships. Worked with the school's record label. Performed all over the place. Wrote a bunch. And then after 2.5 years of being at that school, I thought, I'm done with this too. So I dropped out again. And it was just when I felt the feeling of this chapter is now done, I just thought, okay, it's just done. And it was kind of a combination of like intuition and financial, because I was kind of weighing that, is this worth it? Oh, I don't know. So I feel ready. Let's go into the next thing. So that time it was definitely a little more financial, but I ended up withdrawing, working with my second producer on a bunch of music.
Cool.
All with the plan of moving to LA we were saying the near future, which ended up turning into like 2 years later.
I know. Isn't it so funny how those big decisions we intuitively know, but they can take years to act on.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I started, when I was in school, I was working part-time at Whole Foods, which was my little like college job. And then I decided to work full-time for Whole Foods.
I did not know this.
I've worked a lot of jobs in that company and also just in general, like that. Yeah. There's no job that's not worth the learning experience, is what I'll say. Because it teaches you the different positioning that everyone is in a different position. And today let me keep going and then I'll talk about all that.
Yeah.
So did that for a while until about a year before I was going to move to, maybe I was there for only about a year and a half. And I was just so fed up with that job that I was asking my friends around, I just need a different job, just something where I can make more money, not have to be in this environment, and I'll do something else. And my friend, at the time was like, my company's hiring Lo and behold, it's a packaging company.
Oh my gosh.
So packaging and, working with all different kinds of brands to do to literally create their bags, their wraps. So a lot of cannabis, a lot of food, a lot of cosmetics. Very interesting. So I started out
like environmental science, Whole Foods, packaging.
Packaging that, no shade on the packaging, but it's plastic. So it's funny to go from environmental science to selling a bunch of plastic.
We have to lose ourselves to find ourselves.
Period. And I did. And I sure did. And last year was a testament to that, really rounding that corner.
You were at the packaging job for a long time.
Yeah, I was with them for 5 years.
Wow. Yeah. So after Whole Foods, you did that, and that's the move that got you to LA.
That's the move that got me to LA. Yeah, and I started with them very low end, working as a coordinator, and then moved my way up into a regional sales executive role and was managing tons of accounts, tons of money, tons of people, relationships. So it was incredible learning experience. Yeah. For me. Yeah.
Wow.
So
all of that to say, then
yes,
music re-enters the story.
Music enters the story. Then, okay, about 3 years into that, me and my producer and my friend at the time, Blake, had made the decision with his girlfriend, our friend, to all move to LA. We were like, it's time. And so I said to my company, so it's been good, it's been fun. Bye. Yeah. Left, moved here, and they called me in 2 weeks and they were like, actually, do you think that you would work remote? And I was like, yeah, I will. Because I was planning on getting a job out here anyways. And so that was a lovely bridge to have. Yeah. And ended up staying with the company for two and a half more years. Maybe it was 3 years. Timelines are a little foggy for me as I look back. But up until last fall. Wow. And in that time, experienced such an incredible amount of transformation in my own personal life that then empowered me to make that decision to step out of that. I'm also completely living out that I did a yoga teacher training immediately upon literally setting my feet on the ground here. I found Hut 8. Yeah. Did a teacher training. That changed my life. And then I was like, there are other possibilities here.
I know. It's like step 1, move to LA. Step 2, yoga teacher training.
Yes. Yeah.
The LA starter kit. But it's so true, though. Yoga was my gateway to everything too when I moved here, and then it's like that first glimmer of change is possible, and mind, body, spirit connection, and
absolutely. And that was definitely. I have been practicing yoga since I was 18, and it's so funny how when you open the floodgates of just tell us about your life, I'm like ba 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 ba, and then back here, and then here we are.
And then a nice little bow.
And then a little bow at the end, which we'll eventually get to. And I say that because I think it's funny that I am now just mentioning the yoga because that was very integrated in my journey. And by the time that I did the teacher training, I was also kind of navigating some really challenging things in my personal life with music and with my collaborator at the time. And which I since look back on and realize it was just from such a place of scarcity that I was behaving, so much fear that was from my past that really needed to be moved through in order for me to really break out and be in abundance when it comes to creative freedom and collaboration. And I will say to that point too, in LA, it's so interesting because a lot of us do move here and we sacrifice everything to move here for something in the arts, which is so unpredictable. Mm-hmm. And then we end up there is that there can be that scarcity energy collectively if you're not careful, and then we also end up getting caught up in the side jobs so much so that we're not doing the thing that we came here to do. Yes.
Tale as old as LA time.
Yeah, tale as old as LA time.
Hustle, as they say.
The hustle. It's so true. And it was also really important that I deviated as well, because what that brought up within me at the time was, long story short, we just had a disagreement on how we were going to proceed working together. And it brought up so much emotion to me that I just froze. And I said, you know what? And at the time, it wasn't a super conscious decision, but I was like, I just feel like I can't move forward with music right now in an external way. So I'm just going to write and just focus on that, and I'll learn how to teach yoga. And all my energy went into learning how to teach yoga and becoming a guide in that way. And that whole experience was very, what's the word that I'm looking for? Sparkled with beautiful experiences with new friends and spiritual experiences and medicine experiences that all really helped wake me up to my Dharma feels like such a big word. My
purpose.
my role in this life as a person who helps people.
Yeah.
To put it simply.
Yeah.
As a person who helps people through whatever they need help with and into becoming.
You were assembling your toolkit.
I was assembling my toolkit. And it's funny how at the time when we're going through those really big tension moments of friction, our younger selves in the moment, right, as they say, make a mountain out of a molehill, and you're sitting in front of it and you're thinking, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And then you look back and it was the single most important thing that happened to awaken you to all of the parts of you that were no longer serving you.
Totally.
That were creating suffering and limitation. And so from there, grew in my yoga practice, made incredible friends along the way.
Oh my gosh. Love.
Who taught me how to trust myself. And last fall, we're rounding the corner.
We're circling back.
We're circling back. Last fall, so I had really connected with an amazing core group of friends who I started to get really, really close with, who, of which you are one, a coach. All of my friends happen to just be coaches.
In Venice, high probability.
High probability.
We're just a stone throws away.
Stone throws away. Yep. 100%. It's just funny to giggle at.
Yeah, I always joke that if you live in Venice long enough, you become a breathwork facilitator or a coach 100%. Or both.
It's so contagious to want to help people and
share the tools that have like been impactful.
Absolutely. So, I through many conversations with friends, finally made the decision, okay, I'm going to leave my job, put in my 2 weeks with really no backup plan, and jumped. And I jumped. And I said, I'm going to start with private yoga coaching is what I was going to do. Yoga teaching, corporate events, teaching, and privates. And that's how it began. And since then, it has become, and all along the way, I had friends telling me, you should really consider being a life coach. And every time somebody would say it to me, I was like, who am I to tell somebody else how to live their life, and then come to find out that's not what being a life coach is.
You're like, turns out we just hold the mirror.
It's like, I'm just literally like, this is what I'm seeing. Exactly.
Yeah. But it is so funny because it's like choosing the path of life coach is the ultimate value confrontation of like, I trust that like, you know, I can hold the mirror for somebody else, and my struggles or the things that I've went through, like everything makes me qualified to do this versus the who am I to, which I as well had when I became a coach as a failed or like quote unquote failed startup founder. I'm like, who am I to coach my friends who are successful startup founders? So it's like it's almost like we have to go through that, the initiation of the who am I to like actually claim that.
Yes, absolutely. Because it actually, without realizing it, the question is actually asking for an answer. It's the who am I, and it's like you're asking, so you're going to find who you are.
Yeah.
And you're going to then realize, oh, I have all this experience, all of these tools that I've been building my whole life to be able to help somebody like me through many different types of situations that I've also been through.
Yeah.
And so it turned into life coaching very quickly as I started to market and talk to people. And it was the first I was getting on discovery calls saying, well, I help people with this with their bodies, and releasing stored emotion and creating a safe pathway, a safe practice for you to release that emotion and then integrate it. And then slowly it was, oh, well, now I'm offering you this other tool and resource that is guided journaling. And then I started offering breathwork videos, and then I started just hopping on calls with people. And then suddenly, and then it's like, I'm a life coach now.
Next thing you know.
Next thing you know, you're a coach.
Yeah.
And so, but for me, yoga, the philosophy of yoga it's a philosophy of life. It's a philosophy of compassion and acceptance, surrendering, and also empowerment to find peace within whatever situation you're in, with tools within your body.
Totally.
And so that being connected, that leading into coaching felt like the most natural thing, because it was basically just adding on a component of talking support, of let's talk through what you're moving through. And so I've helped a broad range of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, what is your like secret sauce or like your experience that you take people through on a like kind of micro, if you can give us a micro snapshot?
Yeah.
Just because I think like, yeah, one of your strongest suits is just like your unapologetic authenticity. So how do you, what's your first step for getting a client to get there?
So the first step in my practice and experience with people is getting people into a feeling of safety and regulation in their nervous system, so that the real them can feel safe and at ease being seen simply by me in that session. So that looks like somatic tapping, yoga, breath work, a guided meditation, and creating safety. And most of the time, the first step is introducing a somatic, a felt experience that they can feel, so that emotion can move through them. And then we can really talk about who are you? What do you really want in your life? What do you really have to say? What are your dreams? And what do you feel has been in the way? Because once somebody gets to a place of safety, I would describe it almost as, it's like one of those moments where a light bulb goes off in your mind and you realize that your limitations are simply limitations that you place there.
Yeah.
Or that something is super obvious. It's like when you hear a cliche for the 4,000th time and you're like, it makes so much sense that people say that now.
Root down to rise.
Yeah, root to rise. Or yeah, like love is the answer, all these cliches, whatever you want to pull from. And it's getting somebody into that safe space. I experience that people tend to have those very strong intuitive experiences automatically. They're like, well, I see that this is in the way. It makes so much sense. And it's actually not the truth. And so remind me of the questions so that I can round this out. I'm totally.
Yeah, we're in it.
Yes, I just realized I'm explaining the process of creating safety.
Yeah. So like, yeah, to help get them to tap into their authenticity. So you're saying kind of step one is helping them feel safe.
Yes, feel safe and start to talk about, what their authenticity looks like. So what would it, okay, wow, I just totally skipped a big step. You're getting me raw first time.
We're raw dogging it.
And that's
Love
good.
it.
Raw dogging, hey, that's authenticity, is me saying, I bop around. That's the gift of ADHD.
Right, and we love that.
And we love that.
It keeps the journey interesting, and we all get to that destination.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Creating safety, visioning what would your life look like if you were in your most empowered, most authentic, most self-expressed, most confident version of yourself in that place. And having people envision that for themselves, first of all, it just feels so good to be like, I see myself doing this and this. And then they start to talk about it and they're like super excited about it. And then we talk about, okay, well, and let's look at your current situation and talk about what maybe feels like it's getting in the way, what stories you're telling yourself in between you and being that version. Because I can hear and feel that you are so connected to that version of you that's literally calling you forward. I like to think our future self is reaching a hand out like that. Was it Michelangelo or Picasso? Like the God. And
beautiful visual.
Yeah. So I think about our future self like that, like holding out the hand and saying, come this way. Yeah. And we're this close if we're just willing to just say, okay, with vulnerability, I'm just going to grab the hand and allow it to walk me forward. And what I've learned about coaching is that we are here to help be the bridge to facilitate that connection between somebody's current self and that future self that's already reaching out.
Right.
Because really it's them that's doing
the grabbing.
The grabbing and the work.
You're just there to help them.
Yeah, and be accountable to hold it. You better hold on. Dock
those hands.
Dock the boat in the harbor of your future.
Dock the boat in the harbor of your future. Yeah, no, I love that so much. It's like creating the safety, having the visioning, and then helping them actually take that holding them accountable to taking those tactical steps to get there.
Yep,
and the funny
absolutely.
little thing about coaching is that we are all our own client zero. And so I feel like I love that you literally had to walk the fire by leaving your job with no safety net last year when it was like the thing that got, or like, you know, supported you through your time in LA. And then this year I've also seen you like step into not just coaching, but then also circling back on your music, finally putting music out again, watch this space. And then also like, can you share a bit about like, I feel like you really just showed up online in such an authentic way that I think a lot of people would be really scared to do, like saying, you know, things and responding to comments and haters and like as you were like blowing up, as the kids would say.
As the kids say.
And so, yeah, can you talk about how it was to like kind of live that in the public eye for yourself while you were kind of, because you went from like, yeah, you grew like 70,000 followers in like a few months.
Yeah.
And what it's like to maintain that authenticity while you're probably getting all sorts of external feedback.
Wow. That is a phenomenal question. And thank you for also seeing me in the evolution, because you've seen me from the beginning.
I've seen you from the beginning.
She's known me. Meredith has seen the many versions of Rezlo and Gregory. All is one.
All is one. I know everyone else calls you Gregory, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I am calling him his stage name.
It's both. Yeah, it's both.
Rezlo, yes, and.
Yeah. Some people also, when they, I just am open
or Rezlo.
to. Rezlo. Yeah. Do you Rezlo-nate?
Resery.
Resery.
Gregory.
I was thinking, never mind.
Okay. Circling back, how you were living that in the public eye.
Living in the public eye.
And like being even, I feel like the more traction, like the even more layers of authenticity you were able to tap into.
Yes. So when I left my job and decided to move into coaching, it was so exciting. It was like it felt like such a, big fuck yes in my body. I was just feeling this is my journey. I'm meant to help people and inspire people and guide people. And with social media, how it started was really, I am also fortunate to be surrounded by people that do well on social media and have built careers that are integrated with their social media.
Yeah.
We all do that out here. That's just LA, you know?
Yeah, I know.
And my close friends, Bianca and Nimai, have really coached me through so much of all of, when you talk about being client zero, all of the many reflections that come along with stepping into being a coach and being a person on the internet with a personality and with things to offer and share.
Right.
And so where do I start with this? So from encouragement from them, Bianca specifically said, she goes, if you just go and post 3-4 times a day for a few months, I promise you that you will start to connect with people who really resonate with you. Like you'll start to build Rezlo-nate. And so I committed and I said, I'm just going to start posting out the wazoo.
And that's like 3 or 4 times a day is a lot. That's a daunting commitment where you just like, I am not going to edit. I'm just going to say random things and throw things against the wall and see what sticks.
Totally. And so that's what I was doing. So I just started throwing things and I said, I'm going to do some personality stuff. I'm going to do coaching. I'm going to do music. I'm going to do comedy, whatever. And I had one video that happened to get a lot of traction. And it was a video that I made in less than a minute, one take as a joke, where I put on a bodybuilder tank top because I've been bodybuilding over the past year and a half. And I thought it was funny because it like showed a lot of my chest and looked really goofy on me. And I just made this funny video. The video is like sitting, I think, at like 11 million views right now.
Wow.
And that actually now to this day is not my biggest video, but it was the one that got me all of my community online to see me for who I was. Aside from what I offer, it was just like, oh, we just really like who you are. We really just are like down
funny,
with you.
Goofy.
Yeah, just funny, goofy. I was just joking around and I was like, anyways, this is funny. And then I posted it and I have received the most wonderful, amazing connection from that. And then there's the other side of that, which is the negative comments. And because of the way that I am and the way I appear to be as a person who is in the LGBTQ community who also presents very feminine, everybody has an opinion.
It's so crazy because
Yeah.
it's so funny that you say that, because it's like two sides of the same coin in a way. Because it's like the thing that probably got you the community was like your authenticity and how you just own that, like you said, presenting feminine, but also bodybuilding, but also yoga.
Yeah.
It's like all of the yes ands, and then the people who find it super triggering that you don't fit in one box.
Which they were my teachers. They were my teachers as well. That taught me so much. And so that experience in terms of how that shaped my authenticity was very similar to the kind of things that I help people through, which it's funny because we're never too old to get triggered.
Yeah.
And
Amen.
Amen. And so I navigate a lot of my own triggers, and it made me stronger and more available and more vulnerable, because the reservoir of self-esteem and self-trust that was developed as a result of continuing to pour out and do the content and be authentic bolstered and strengthened my relationship with me. And then whatever anyone says now, after, not a whole year in, but many months in, I feel so much stronger.
Would you just like ignore it or let it wash off, or do you ever respond to them?
Sometimes I do troll people back, but I realize like what you give, where your energy goes, or where attention flows, energy goes, and I'm like, I don't want to like.
You're like, don't do it, but I have a really spicy response.
Yeah.
But even just showing up, and it, like you and I have talked about this before, and kind of the different like polarizing global climates and stuff, just by like existing authentically, it's like an act of defiance, and not letting those things deter us. It's like we almost don't need to respond to them at all, just by like continuing to exist and shine our light and lead with love is like the ultimate act of defiance.
100%. And the people, it's a wave of love really that emanates from each of our individual choices to show up just even a little bit more, where it's you show up a little bit more authentically. You actually say what you feel instead of maybe holding it inside to a loved one. So whether it's online or it's in person with people that you love, it's all about taking those steps of courage to express yourself.
Totally.
And the more you do it, the more you're giving other people permission to do the same. And if you trigger people, that's also a really great invitation for them to feel. If they take the invitation, sometimes they'll just be like, well, not our business, not our responsibility.
That's their journey, what they do with the trigger. Who are we to say?
Yep, 100%.
And what's like the nice, and then we'll get into the little Median takeaways. There's so much juice. We're definitely going to do a part 2. I'm so freaking honored that
I'm
this
so
is
honored.
Your first. So what has been like some of the nicest or like wow comments people have said about like some of your videos on Instagram, like just like how it's impacted them, or if there's anyone that like top of mind?
Wow, that is a great question. And thank you for asking that. I have had, there was one in particular that I remember, and it was from a mom. And she reached out and she said, I just wanted to reach out and let you know how deeply impactful your content has been for me and my daughter, who just transitioned and has been in her process of claiming her authenticity and being in her body in the way that feels most aligned for her. And I showed her your videos, and she feels so connected to you and so inspired by your unapologetic expression.
Wow.
And that, to me, to hear that another kid that maybe felt, and I don't identify as trans, but I do express myself in a way that's very outside of the bounds of the gender binary and the gender norms. Oftentimes, to hear that another kid out there saw me and said, that's what I want to be like. Like, I want to be that free, or I want to be that, feel that safe in myself. And since that, I actually have received a few more DMs just like that from parents who have shared my content with their kids, and their kids have been inspired. And that just, it makes me think of the younger version of me who hadn't really figured out who I was yet, and was just like putting out a petal at a time, being like, who am I? Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? And that, is life-changing for me to receive that kind of feedback from people.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And it's so like, it's almost like any other like negative comments you could get are just like not ever worth to stop being you and putting it out there, because that impact is just so profound that it's like, how can you not,
Yes.
And it's cool too, like you were saying with the PlayStation analogy of deconstructing. It's like we had to like sometimes take everything apart, like with the winding journey that you shared,
Yes.
environmental science and whatnot, and then it all comes back together.
Yeah.
In, you know, all the authentic parts really getting their place in the sun.
Yes, absolutely. And that's talking about the authentic parts getting their place in the sun. Even being here with you today feels vulnerable for me.
Yes.
And in my head, a story comes online of, did you say the right things? And that's part of the journey is when it's the same thing, stepping into the authenticity and vulnerability of, well, here I am and you're witnessing me in real time right now, have this experience for the first time. And that's okay. And it's okay to do something. And actually, it's beautiful and exciting to do something completely new that puts you there where you're like, okay,
let's see what happens.
See what happens. And it's great. It's fun.
My gosh.
So thank you.
Wow. I am so honored. And it's like, it's so cool, like I said, to hear your whole journey. Cause I'm like, there's so many questions I could have asked that are just specifically like, related to coaching or this past year. But I also just think I'm like selfishly as your friend, like I wanted to hear the deep cut of your personal journey, as I'm sure many people who follow you in your community are also like really curious about like who was the you who was able to be like, you know, lead to the version of you who does express yourself fully.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's such a journey. And so often on Instagram, we can see like the version of us who's already there. And it's like the people who are watching us, like the parents and the kids that see that version of you. It's like cool to like rewind it back, and they have their own little roadmap of like how to get there for themselves.
Absolutely. And thank you for encouraging me and supporting me and sharing that. And there's more to come. There's more to come, more to share.
Okay, so let's do a quick little 2-minute meditation and then end with like a few journaling questions, food for thought for the listeners, and then we'll wrap up with where people can find you.
Okay.
Okay.
Beautiful. Let's do it. Okay.
Take it away.
So I'm going to have you place your left hand on your heart and your right hand either on your belly or right on top of it, whatever feels really supportive to you, and close your eyes down. And just exhale all your air out. So let it go. Nice. And then through your nose, fill all the way up. So low belly fill, mid belly all the way into your chest, fill all the way up, maybe even into your throat. Sip in a little more air at the top in your nose. And then a little HA, let it go. Beautiful. And wherever your body is physically right now, just want you to notice any sensation that feels prevalent to you. So maybe there's a part of your body that's speaking to you more than another part of your body, and just bring all your attention to wherever you feel that most sensation. Just noticing. And then bring your attention to the center of your chest. Bring your fingertips to the center of your chest. Start to tap the center of your chest just a little bit. And notice the sensation in your hands. Notice the sensation in your body. And then notice your breath. So 3 points of focus. And I want you to think of if there was one affirmation that you could have said to yourself today, that you can say to yourself now, that would feel encouraging and supportive to you. It could be something like, I am safe, or I am courageous in my expression, or I am willing to love myself through this moment. Whatever it is, take a moment. Just imagine that you're tapping those words into your heart space. Another inhale and fill. Tapping that intention in, little exhale. Nice, beautiful, beautiful. And then bring your hands to your heart center and give them a little rub, 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 rub. We're going to take a breath, and I want you to imagine that you are blowing all of your love into the center of your hands. Take an inhale. And you're blowing that love in. All of your appreciation, your love, your compassion for you. And take your hands and place them over your heart for one more deep breath. Take an inhale. And exhale, let it go. And before you open your eyes, just remember at any moment of your day, whether you are in joy or you are in turmoil, you always have the opportunity to tune into your body and bring your attention inward. Get curious and send yourself a little bit of compassion before you return on with the rest of your day. Gently blink open your eyes and lift your gaze and find your bestie with your eyes.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That was so relaxing. I feel so centered. Your voice is just like smooth vegan butter in my eardrums.
Thank you. Ooh. Miyokos.
So good. So if you could just give us 3 quick rapid fire questions that the listeners can think about or journal on as they kind of journey into their own self-love or authenticity path.
Okay, beautiful. First question is more of it's if you were to write down, what do I stand for? Write down, what do I stand for? And then make a little list of what you stand for. Whether it's, and that might feel a little bit open-ended, but love that question because it really reveals like what you value.
Totally.
The next question is, if you set aside all concept of limitation and all programs of anything that you've been told about what's possible, what's not possible, if you set that all aside for a moment and reflect on what would make you the happiest in your life, what would make you feel the most inspired, what you'd be doing, who you'd be with, what your life would look like, write about that. And 3, what's one little way today that you can commit to loving yourself a little bit better?
I love those. Those are so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, just like getting clear on the values and then like how can I actually show up for myself today in a way that is aligned. Okay, powerful stuff. So can you share with the audience, the listeners, where they can find you and what, different ways they can connect with you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Instagram most primarily at It's Rezlo, ITSREZLO. That's me, baby. For entertainment, for fun, for coaching, for music, for all things. And if you're interested in working with me on a professional level when it comes to life coaching, somatic work, yoga, my DMs are always open. If you're curious about my journey or want to shoot me a question, my DMs are always open for that. And if you want to find me on Spotify, which it's old music right now, but there's new music coming, it is also Rezlo as well. So just buckle up. This year is going to be a big one.
It's going to be big.
Lots of music coming. Like I've been just literally stewing, writing songs. And I am on TikTok, but I'm working on building that. So hit my Instagram, and then we'll
take it from there.
We'll take it from there, and we'll start. This will be our first date.
Oh my gosh!
Instagram.
We'll suss it out.
Yes,
great first date.
Yeah, and I also want to thank you for opening this door for me to walk through, and be in vulnerability and authenticity with you, someone who I love so much.
Oh my gosh. It's my pleasure and honor from all of our Minotti's coffee dates. I'm like, shout out Minotti's, sponsor us. To just like our late night hangs and everything. It's so cool to like get the whole snapshot of the journey and hear all of your wisdom. I'm just so proud of you as your friend and all the lives you've transformed through Instagram, through your coaching journey, and just through being unapologetically you. And I'm excited for more of the powerful stuff listeners to get to know you as well.
Me too. Thank you, listeners. Love you guys.
Okay. Thank you everyone for listening, watching, and we will see you next week for more powerful stuff. Boo, boo, boo. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful stuff.